Okay, if there is a historical Moses, where is this guy? I mean, where was he buried?
According to the biblical tradition, he ended on the other side of the valley.
In a world where ancient secrets and holy artifacts mix history with legend, a recent discovery has rocked both religious beliefs and academic studies. A tomb long veiled in mystery, rumored to be the final resting place of Moses, has yielded astonishing finds.
It reminds me of a cairn, or in the other words, an artificial stone mound covering a tomb underneath.
This groundbreaking excavation is now sending shockwaves through religious communities everywhere. Could this tomb truly be the final resting place of Moses? What secrets might it reveal about one of history's most famous figures? Join us as we uncover what's been hidden in Moses' tomb that scares all religious people. The epic journey of Moses. Moses is one of the most significant figures in religious history, particularly in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His story is primarily recounted in the Hebrew Bible, within the books of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. In Judaism, Moses is regarded as the greatest prophet and the deliverer of God's law, the Torah. In Christianity, he is seen as a precursor to Jesus Christ, embodying the law and covenant. In Islam, Moses, known as Musa, is considered a mighty prophet and messenger who received the Torah from Allah. Moses was born in Egypt during a time when the Israelites, also known as Hebrews, were enslaved by the Egyptians. This period is estimated to be around the late 14th century BCE, likely around 1391 BCE. The pharaoh, fearing the growing population of the Israelites, decreed that all newborn Hebrew boys should be killed to prevent them from becoming too numerous and powerful. To save her baby, Moses' mother, Jochebed, placed him in a waterproof basket made of papyrus and set it afloat on the Nile River. His sister, Miriam, watched over the basket from a distance as it floated down the river. Remarkably, the basket was discovered by Pharaoh's daughter. Often identified as Princess Bithiah, moved by compassion, she decided to adopt the baby and raised him as her son in the Egyptian royal palace. She named him Moses, which means drawn out of the water. Moses grew up with all the privileges of an Egyptian prince, receiving the best education and training in the arts, sciences, and military tactics of the time. Despite his royal upbringing, Moses was aware of his Hebrew heritage and felt a deep connection to his people. When Moses was about 40 years old, he witnessed an Egyptian taskmaster brutally beating a Hebrew slave.
Lazy Hebrew, will it take a beating to make you work? No!
Enraged by the injustice, Moses intervened and killed the Egyptian, hiding the body in the sand. The next day, he saw two Hebrews fighting and tried to break up the fight, but one of them retorted, "Who made you a ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Realizing that his deed was known, Moses feared for his life. When Pharaoh heard about the incident, he sought to kill Moses, prompting Moses to flee Egypt and seek refuge in the land of Midian. Moses fled to the land of Midian, situated in the northwest part of the Arabian Peninsula, a region known for its rugged mountains and sparse settlements. In Midian, he encountered Jethro, a prominent priest and leader of the Midianites, and married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah.
Did your God live on this mountain?
Sinai is his high place. His temple.
As a new shepherd, Moses tended to Jethro's flocks in a land rich with ancient trade routes and rugged terrain, which would have made shepherding both challenging and significant. Moses lived in Midian for about 40 years, a period during which he would have become deeply integrated into the local culture and customs. By the time he was around 80 years old, he had accumulated considerable experience and wisdom. One extraordinary day, while Moses was tending the sheep on Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai, a mountain that is significant in biblical history for receiving the 10 Commandments, he witnessed a truly miraculous sight, a bush that was ablaze with fire yet remained unharmed and unconsumed. This phenomenon was not just a visual marvel, but a profound spiritual experience. From this miraculous burning bush, God spoke directly to Moses, commanding him to return to Egypt, to liberate the Israelites from their harsh bondage. To empower Moses for this monumental task, God endowed him with miraculous powers, such as turning his staff into a serpent and making his hand temporarily leprous and then restored, to demonstrate divine authority. Moses journeyed back to Egypt accompanied by his brother Aaron, who served as his spokesperson. Together, they approached Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, and presented a compelling plea for the freedom of the Israelites. Their mission was not just a fight for freedom, but a dramatic clash of divine will against the might of one of the ancient world's greatest empires. The untold story of Israel's journey from Egypt. When the Pharaoh refused to release the Israelites, God unleashed 10 devastating plagues on Egypt. According to the Bible, the first plague turned the Nile River into blood, making the water undrinkable.
There will be blood throughout the whole of Egypt for 7 days. The fish will die. The rivers will stink of death.
After that, Egypt was overrun by swarms of frogs, gnats, and flies. Following these, a disease struck the animals, causing widespread death among livestock. Then came painful boils on people's skin, followed by massive hailstorms that destroyed crops and property. Locusts then swarmed over the land, consuming any remaining vegetation. The 9th plague brought utter darkness that lasted for 3 days. The final and most severe plague was the death of every firstborn son in Egypt. To protect their own families, the Israelites marked their doorframes with lamb's blood, a sign that became known as Passover. This last plague, which claimed the Pharaoh's son, finally persuaded him to let the Israelites go. This dramatic event is believed to have occurred around 1250 BCE. Moses then led the Israelites out of Egypt in what is called the Exodus, guiding them towards the promised land of Canaan. However, the Pharaoh soon regretted his decision and sent his army to pursue them. The Israelites found themselves in a desperate situation, trapped between the vast expanse of the Red Sea and the formidable Egyptian army, which was closing in on them. In a stunning display of divine intervention, God instructed Moses to stretch his staff over the sea. The waters miraculously parted, forming a dry pathway through the sea. This incredible event allowed the Israelites to escape. As they reached the other side, the waters returned to their place, submerging the Egyptian army and ensuring the Israelites' safety. Following their escape from Egypt, Moses guided the Israelites through the harsh, unforgiving desert landscape. They eventually arrived at Mount Sinai, a significant location in their journey. Here, Moses ascended the mountain, where God bestowed upon him the 10 Commandments. These ancient laws, engraved on 2 stone tablets, provided essential ethical guidelines, including honoring one's parents and prohibitions against murder, theft, and false proof. These commandments have had a serious influence on Jewish law and ethical thought for millennia. The journey through the desert was marked by 40 years of wandering, a consequence of the Israelites' lack of faith and disobedience. Despite the harsh conditions, their survival was continually ensured by miraculous provisions from God. Each morning, a dew-like substance known as manna appeared on the ground. This extraordinary food, which tasted like honey and wafers, provided the Israelites with nourishment throughout their journey. Additionally, when the people faced a critical shortage of water, Moses struck a rock at God's command, and water gushed forth.
I command you to yield water to the people.
A miraculous provision for their needs. During this period, Moses played a crucial role as a leader, mediator, and teacher. He not only resolved disputes among the people, but also taught them God's laws. To facilitate worship and divine communication, Moses established a special tent called the tabernacle. This portable sanctuary, carefully designed according to divine instructions, became the center of religious life for the Israelites, where they could offer sacrifices and seek guidance from God. According to the Bible, as the 40 years of wandering in the desert were coming to a close, Moses ascended Mount Nebo, located in present-day Jordan. From this elevated vantage point, he was able to gaze upon the Promised Land, a region flowing with milk and honey as described in the Scriptures. Despite this breathtaking view, God informed Moses that he would not be permitted to enter this land himself. This was because at the waters of Meribah, Moses had struck a rock to bring forth water instead of speaking to it as God had commanded, thus demonstrating a lack of faith. The Bible records that Moses died on Mount Nebo, and in a remarkable and mysterious event, God himself buried him in an undisclosed location. This secret burial site has become a subject of interest and assumption, with no one knowing the exact place where Moses was laid to rest. The event is believed to have taken place around 1271 BCE, marking the end of a significant era for the Israelites as they prepared to enter the land promised to their ancestors. The ancient secrets beneath the Sea of Galilee. Josh Gates and his team set out on an extraordinary quest to solve one of history's enduring mysteries.
Probably a breastplate, maybe part of a belt.
The location of Moses' final resting place. While traditional beliefs pinpoint Mount Nebo in Jordan as the site of Moses' death, Gates' latest findings suggest there might be another possibility. For centuries, scholars and explorers have assumed Moses' grave. Ancient texts, including the Bible and local folklore, hint that clues might be found around the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee, also known as Lake Tiberias or Kinneret, is the largest freshwater lake in Israel and covers an area of about 64 square miles. It holds immense historical and religious significance, being a central location in several biblical events. For instance, it is believed to be the site where Jesus walked on water and performed many miracles, which adds to its mystique and importance. In the early 2018, Josh Gates and his team embarked on their ambitious expedition, starting with an exhaustive review of historical documents, maps, and archaeological studies. They aimed to explore underwater sites where ancient artifacts or structures related to Moses might be hidden. The team utilized cutting-edge technology, including sonar equipment and remotely operated vehicles, to survey the lakebed with unparalleled precision. The team's operations were based near the Sea of Galilee in the city of Tiberias, which has been a significant settlement since the time of the Roman Empire.
You could look down into the Sea of Galilee and see this bump. Is there anything else like this that rises up?
This strategic location allowed them to have easy access to the lake and its surrounding areas. One of the modern tools employed by Gates's team was high-resolution satellite imagery. By analyzing these images, the team could identify underwater features and anomalies that aligned with ancient descriptions and geographical features mentioned in historical texts. Using advanced mapping software, Gates and his team created highly detailed maps of the areas they intended to explore, ensuring they had a comprehensive understanding of the landscape. This technology allowed them to pinpoint specific locations of interest with unprecedented accuracy, enhancing their exploration strategy. Ground-penetrating radar was another vital tool in their quest to uncover Moses' tomb. GPR is a non-invasive technique that uses radar pulses to image the subsurface. The device sends out radio waves, which penetrate the ground and bounce back when they hit an object. This data is then displayed on a screen, revealing buried structures, chambers, and anomalies without the need for digging. GPR has been crucial in many archaeological discoveries, such as uncovering ancient burial sites and hidden city foundations. With GPR, Josh Gates and his team could investigate beneath the surface of potential sites, searching for hidden tombs or other important archaeological features. Drones equipped with high-resolution cameras were also deployed to capture aerial views of the landscape. These aerial shots offered a broader perspective of the areas under investigation and helped identify any unusual features or structures that might not be visible from the ground. Additionally, drones enabled the team to access hard-to-reach places, such as cliffs and steep terrain, which would have been nearly impossible to explore otherwise. Furthermore, the team employed 3D scanning technology to create detailed, three-dimensional models of any significant finds. This technology allowed the team to precisely document and analyze structures and artifacts with unprecedented accuracy. The 3 models they created were revolutionary, providing not only detailed visualizations, but also interactive tools that helped both experts and the public understand the discoveries on a deeper level. The team began their underwater exploration by scanning the lakebed for unusual formations using advanced sonar and imaging technology. On October 2018, they made a groundbreaking discovery, an ancient submerged structure that appeared to be a circular stone monument. This structure, named K, was composed of large basalt rocks intricately stacked in a circular shape. It measured approximately 230 feet in diameter and 32 feet in height, making it one of the largest submerged stone structures ever found. The significance of this discovery cannot be overstated, as cairns are often associated with ancient burial practices and ceremonial sites. Gates and his team hypothesized that this structure might be connected to Moses or could hold vital clues about his final resting place. Historical texts and local legends have long suggested that significant religious artifacts and burial sites could be hidden beneath the waters of this region. The team embarked on a detailed examination of the site, carefully removing layers of silt and sediment that had accumulated over millennia. This delicate process, which took several weeks, required sophisticated techniques to ensure the preservation of the ancient stones. Josh Gates' quest for Moses' hidden tomb. In places where initial discoveries hinted at possible archaeological importance, Josh Gates and his team embarked on a thorough excavation mission. They employed a range of traditional tools, including shovels, trowels, brushes, and sieves, to carefully dig and sift through the layers of soil. The team's primary objective was to uncover any artifacts, inscriptions, or structural remnants that could shed light on the elusive burial site of Moses. Their efforts paid off with the discovery of several intriguing artifacts, such as pottery shards and ancient tools. These findings suggested that the site could be from a civilization thousands of years old, potentially dating back to the time of Moses. Pottery shards, for example, can provide valuable insights into the daily lives and craftsmanship of ancient peoples, while ancient tools can reveal information about their technological advancements. Despite these promising discoveries, the team struggled to find direct evidence linking the site to Moses. They faced numerous challenges during their excavation, including poor underwater visibility and strong currents, which made it difficult to work efficiently at such depths. The site's submerged nature added another layer of complexity, as working underwater requires specialized equipment and techniques. To better understand the significance of their submerged finds, the team sought guidance from experts in ancient history and archaeology. These consultations helped them piece together the historical context and potential implications of their discoveries. The team examined the pottery and tools discovered at the site to uncover their age and origins. Using carbon dating, they determined that some of these artifacts dated back approximately 3,200 years, around the time when Moses is believed to have lived. This period, which falls into the late Bronze Age, was a time of significant cultural and historical developments in the ancient Near East. In addition to scientific analysis, the team explored ancient texts and local folklore to find references to the structure they had unearthed. They encountered interesting stories about submerged cities and grand monuments, which are common in regional legends. However, none of these tales specifically mentioned Moses, making the connection between the artifacts and the biblical figure tenuous. Despite the lack of direct evidence linking the artifacts to Moses, the discovery of the site has enriched the ongoing investigation into Moses' final resting place. This site, located in an area rich with ancient history and myth, adds a new layer of complexity to the search. By the early 2019, Gates and his team had meticulously mapped the entire structure and gathered extensive data. Although they did not find any particularly valuable items, their work contributed valuable insights into the region's historical landscape. The quest for Moses' burial site continues, fueled by the fact that Moses is a significant figure not only in Judaism, but also in Christianity and Islam, each of which has its traditions and theories about his final resting place. This multi-religious interest underscores the depth and persistence of the search, as scholars and archaeologists from various backgrounds continue to explore the mysteries surrounding this legendary figure. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In a remote desert valley, the discovery of Moses' tomb had long been the stuff of legend. But when an international team of archaeologists finally unearthed it, they were met with an unexpected and chilling revelation. As they carefully pried open the ancient stone sarcophagus, the air grew colder, and a strange, eerie light began to glow from within. The team's lead archaeologist, Dr. Hannah Meyer, was the first to peer inside. What she saw left her breathless. Inside the sarcophagus lay a perfectly preserved scroll, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly sheen. The scroll, written in ancient Hebrew, contained detailed prophecies of a coming apocalypse that matched alarming events happening in the world today. But that wasn't all. The scroll also described a series of ominous symbols and warnings that seemed to predict catastrophic changes in religious belief and global conflicts. Among the scroll's most shocking revelations was a cryptic message suggesting that the true power of Moses' miracles was not just in his divine connection, but in an artifact of immense power hidden for millennia. This artifact, said to be capable of unimaginable destruction or salvation, was now feared to be real and potentially within their grasp. As news of the find spread, religious leaders from all over the world convened urgently. They feared that the scroll's dire predictions and the supposed artifact could unravel the very foundations of faith. With apocalyptic warnings that seemed to align with current global crises, the discovery sparked a frenzy of fear and assumption. The world watched with bated breath as the religious community grappled with the implications of this unsettling find. Was it a divine warning or something else entirely? Let us have your opinions in the comment below. The mysteries of Nabii Musa. The Islamic version of Moses' burial site, known as Nabii Musa, holds great religious significance. Located in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea and roughly 18.6 miles east of Jerusalem, Nabii Musa is widely believed by Muslims to be the resting place of Moses, referred to as Musa in Arabic. Moses, or Musa, is one of the most revered prophets in Islam.
Moses saw a burning bush, which was in fact God speaking to him.
His name appears more frequently in the Quran than any other prophet, and his story is central to Islamic beliefs. It underscores themes of faith, perseverance, and divine guidance. According to Islamic tradition, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and received the Torah from God. His story serves as a powerful lesson for Muslims about the importance of following God's commandments and maintaining strong faith. Nabii Musa has a rich history and has been a significant pilgrimage site for centuries. Its connection to Moses dates back to the medieval Islamic period, around 1269 AD. During the Mamluk Sultanate, Sultan Baybars, a notable Mamluk ruler, initiated the construction of a shrine and mosque at this site. His goal was to establish a prominent religious landmark to honor Moses, who holds a special place in Islamic tradition. One of the most important events associated with Nabii Musa is the annual pilgrimage known as the Nabii Musa Festival. This festival has been celebrated for centuries and is closely linked with the Muslim celebration of Laylat al-Miraj. Laylat al-Miraj commemorates the miraculous night journey and the ascent of the Prophet Muhammad to heaven. Every year, thousands of Muslims join this pilgrimage, which begins in Jerusalem and culminates at Nabii Musa. Pilgrims gather at the shrine of Nabii Musa to take part in religious ceremonies and festivities. The Nabii Musa complex is home to several key buildings, including a mosque, a shrine, and lodging for pilgrims. The architecture of this site showcases the Islamic styles from the medieval period, and over the years, it has been expanded and renovated by various Islamic authorities to maintain its religious and cultural significance. The mosque is used for daily prayers, while the shrine is believed to be the burial place of Moses, making it a focal point for worshippers. Beyond its historical importance, Nabii Musa holds deep religious significance for Muslims who visit to pray, seek blessings, and strengthen their faith. The yearly pilgrimage to Nabii Musa highlights the lasting significance of this site in the Islamic world. This annual event is a time for people to come together, reflect on their faith, and celebrate their shared beliefs. Over the centuries, the Nabii Musa site has been carefully maintained and restored. Islamic authorities have worked hard to ensure that it remains in excellent condition for future generations. The buildings at Nabii Musa have been expanded and upgraded to accommodate the increasing number of pilgrims each year. These efforts help the site continue to be a vital place of religious importance and cultural heritage. Nabii Musa is not only a religious site, but also a cultural landmark, reflecting the rich history and traditions of the Islamic world. The annual pilgrimage unites Muslims from various backgrounds, fostering a sense of community and shared faith. Visitors also have the chance to learn about the history of Moses and his role in Islamic teachings. Today, Nabii Musa remains a key site for Muslims worldwide, offering a place to seek spiritual comfort and strengthen their faith. The annual pilgrimage to Nabii Musa is a major event that draws thousands of visitors every year. The religious ceremonies at Nabii Musa are central to the pilgrimage experience. Pilgrims come together to pray, recite Quranic verses, and engage in communal worship, all of which honor Moses and allow for reflection on his teachings. During these gatherings, the sense of community and shared faith is incredibly strong, making the pilgrimage a deeply spiritual experience. But Nabii Musa is not just significant for its religious aspects. It also holds historical value. The site has been a place of worship for centuries, contributing richly to Islamic history. The buildings and structures at Nabii Musa provide valuable insights into the architectural styles and cultural practices of the medieval Islamic era. For Muslims, visiting Nabii Musa is a way to connect with their faith and heritage.
And they blended all of this together to create the incredible.
The serene and contemplative atmosphere of the site offers a space for prayer and reflection. The annual pilgrimage not only allows Muslims to unite and celebrate their shared beliefs, but also provides a deeply meaningful experience that strengthens their connection to their faith and history. Unveiling the lost tomb of Moses. Another less famous site believed to be the final resting place of Moses is Jebel Harun, also called Mount Aaron or Mount Harun. This mountain in Jordan has been linked for a long time to the biblical figures of Moses, and particularly his brother Aaron. While Aaron is known to be buried there, the idea that Jebel Harun could also be Moses's burial site is rooted in ancient religious traditions and historical accounts. To understand why Jebel Harun is considered a possible burial place for Moses, people need to explore several key aspects. This includes biblical stories, religious traditions, archaeological findings, and the mountain's significance in various faiths. Starting with the biblical stories, the Old Testament, specifically the book of Numbers, tells us that Moses and the Israelites wandered in the desert for 40 years after leaving Egypt. During this time, Moses received the 10 Commandments and other laws from God on Mount Sinai. As their journey continued, the Israelites neared the land of Canaan, the Promised Land. In Numbers chapter 20, there's a significant event near Mount Hor. Here, God instructs Moses and Aaron to gather the people of Israel. He then tells Moses that Aaron will die because the brothers had not followed his earlier instructions. Moses took Aaron and Aaron's son, Eleazar, up a mountain. At the summit, Aaron passed away. After this, Moses and Eleazar made their way back down the mountain. Aaron's death was a pivotal moment for the Israelites, marking the end of his role as the high priest and leader of the Levites. The mountain where Aaron died and was buried is traditionally believed to be Jebel Harun. This belief is maintained across Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, all of which recognize the mountain's significance in relation to Aaron's death and burial. In Judaism, the identification of this mountain with Jebel Harun is supported by historical interpretations and religious teachings. Jewish scholars and rabbis have long held that Aaron's death and burial took place in Jebel Harun. The connection between Moses and this mountain is drawn from the biblical account, which describes Moses accompanying Aaron there and overseeing his death. Early Christian pilgrims and scholars following the biblical stories also identified the mountain as Jebel Harun. They regarded it as an important site linked to the stories of Moses and Aaron. This tradition has endured through centuries of Christian teachings and historical records. Beyond religious texts, archaeological discoveries and historical accounts shed light on Jebel Harun's importance. Petra, an ancient city close to Jebel Harun, was a major hub of trade and culture during biblical times. Its proximity to Jebel Harun suggests that the mountain was likely known and perhaps even revered by the people of that era. Excavations in Petra and nearby regions have uncovered artifacts and inscriptions that offer a glimpse into the religious beliefs and practices of the ancient inhabitants. While there isn't much direct evidence linking Jebel Harun specifically to Moses' burial, the mountain's significance in both historical and religious contexts is clear. Throughout the centuries, Jebel Harun has remained a key site for cultural and religious pilgrimages. People from various faiths have traveled to the mountain to honor the biblical figures connected with it. This tradition of pilgrimage continues today, highlighting Jebel Harun's lasting significance in the religious landscape of the Middle East. Recently, the quest to find Moses' tomb has continued to fascinate both believers and scholars. This search is about more than just locating a physical site. It's also about grasping the profound impact of Moses' teachings and how they have shaped religious ethics and moral codes. Moses' influence extends far beyond the boundaries of religion, touching literature, art, and philosophy around the world. Although his exact burial place remains undiscovered, his legacy endures as a symbol of strength and divine guidance. People still embark on journeys to find Moses' tomb, driven by a desire to connect with their faith and be near a revered prophet and leader. Pilgrimages to locations like Mount Nebo allow believers to reflect on Moses' teachings and their spiritual journeys, keeping his enduring legacy alive in their hearts. What are your thoughts about the shocking discovery inside Moses' tomb that has terrified religious people everywhere? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.